Dinosaurs ruled the Earth for over 165 million years. However, there were many animals that lived before, during, and after that were just as formidable. We've picked 72 that dominate the others. In this show, we will talk about these dangerous animals, including when they lived, what they ate, their weaponry, and how humans would fare if these creatures were still alive. From the largest venomous animal of all time, to birds that could take out animals 30 times their weight, to a pterosaur that could kill a T-Rex, this is 72 Dangerous Animals, Prehistory. Edistis grew from 22 to 33 feet long and weighed up to 8,000 pounds. It lived 313 to 307 million years ago in the United Kingdom, Russia, and the United States. Like Helicoprion, Edistis was a Eugenodon. However, it possessed tooth whorls on its top and bottom jaws, rather than just the bottom. Edistis is also known as the scissor-toothed shark, due to the way the jaws overlap and cut prey, like a pair of scissors. Each whorl possessed 12 teeth at a time and produced 40 each in its lifetime. The lower whorl was more curved in shape than the upper whorl. Like other Eugenodonts, Edistis had triangular pectoral fins, a single dorsal fin without a spike, no pelvic or anal fins, a keel alongside the body, and a tail with equal-length lobes. It also had 5 gill slits. Edistis has been estimated to have a bite force of 1,907 newtons. Edistis' jaws were very solid and robust, allowing it to slam into large prey items at fast speeds and cut them in half, killing them almost instantly. Edistis would have been able to deploy this method on humans, which means it could potentially kill an entire beach full of people without eating all of them. Edistis rockets in the first place for now. Up next, a freshwater fish everyone is glad went extinct. Piranha grew up to 3 feet long and weighed up to 22 pounds. It lived 9 to 6.8 million years ago in South America. Piranha, meaning giant devilfish, was intermediate in form between the piranhas and pacus of today, suggesting it was a transitional species. Modern piranhas have 1 row of teeth and pacus have 2. Piranha had zigzag rows of teeth in its mouth. Piranha was a generalist carnivore, feeding on fish, turtles, and large mammals. Its bite force has been calculated up to 9,500 newtons, rivaling some modern crocodilians. Its bite was easily capable of snapping a cow femur in 2. When Piranha bites into flesh, the stress is put on the tip of the teeth initially, then distributed to the base of the teeth, allowing for power to crush bones, like modern pacus crush nuts. It isn't entirely confirmed whether Piranha was a complete carnivore or an omnivore, but it should be inferred that its bite force was too strong to be necessary for a diet of just plants. Modern piranhas are piscivores and scavengers, only feeding on fish and dead animals. Humans have been eaten in the Amazon River after drowning. While it is almost unheard of for modern piranhas to kill humans, with only 1 death ever recorded, a child attacked by near-death starving piranhas, Piranha could have been a different story. A pack of Piranha could tear apart and eat a human in seconds. Just like Edistis, Piranha could kill a lot of people very quickly. However, Edistis still comes out on top, since it requires only a short burst of speed to chop a person in half almost effortlessly. Edistis could, in a minute, kill up to 6 people if they were each 30 feet or more away from each other. Piranha takes number 2. Up next, a giant armored fish with a dangerous bite. Dunkleosteus grew up to 33 feet long and weighed up to 8,800 pounds. It lived 382 to 358 million years ago in North America, Europe, and Africa. Dunkleosteus was a gigantic armored placoderm with a killer bite. Dunkleosteus bit down with approximately 7,500 newtons of force. It was a suction feeder, like modern bass, and could quickly open and close its jaws to force food inside its mouth. Dunkleosteus could open its jaw in 20 milliseconds and complete the entire process of sucking in and swallowing an object in only 60 milliseconds. Its bite was powerful enough to cut through armor and kill ammonites and other placoderms. Dunkleosteus also fed on sharks, such as Oridus, which were fast-moving, suggesting that Dunkleosteus may have been relatively fast as well. Like owls, Dunkleosteus vomited up bones from the prey it had eaten as it wasn't able to digest them. Semi-digested fish bones are frequently found in association with Dunkleosteus fossils. Dunkleosteus occasionally preyed on other Dunkleosteus. Studies from 2017 and earlier result in a maximum length of 33 feet for Dunkleosteus. However, a study from 2023 resulted in it being cut down to 11 to 13 feet. Whether Engelman is correct or not, I simply do not care. For this show, we will be using the upper size estimates. Dunkleosteus gave live birth and even had an umbilical cord. Juvenile Dunkleosteus had bites as proportionately strong as adults, meaning they could take out armored prey just like adults shortly after birth. Now, we will debunk several recent assumptions by using common sense and evidence. We have no fossil evidence to suggest that Dunkleosteus had skin and muscle covering its bony armor. Dunkleosteus had flesh on the outside of its impressive bones, just like any fish you'd see today. That quote proves my point. Many fish around today have bony armor on the outside. For instance, gar don't even have skin covering their bodies. Their outer body, skull, scales, and fins are all bone, with the exception of skin covering their fins while alive. Oh wait, what do we have here? This is an armored gunnard, a type of sea robin. It looks fairly similar to the type of armor you'd see on Dunkleosteus, right? Let's not forget about sturgeon, plecostomus, ripsaw catfish, giant Raphael catfish, and many, many others. It almost seems like all the bony fish have heads that are pure bone, as well as many that also have armor as mentioned before. There are a few exceptions of course, but the vast majority all have a head that is pure bone with little to no skin making up their face. Keep in mind, Dunkleosteus also didn't have tooth enamel. Sailfish, sharks, and orcas are built for speed. Dunkleosteus was not. These modern creatures also hunted prey that was very different from what Dunkleosteus was used to. Dunkleosteus took out armored placoderms as the majority of its diet. These armored prey items were not well adapted for swimming and were very slow moving. While Dunkleosteus needed to be fast enough to catch its prey, that doesn't mean it had speeds equal to sharks or orcas. Once again, with the tail, it may have been two-lobed, but Dunkleosteus wasn't built for speed and didn't need speed to take out prey, so it is very likely that his tail did in fact resemble other placoderms, rather than being shark-like. The same assumption can be made for its dorsal fin, as Dunkleosteus wasn't a speedy killer. The sclerotic rings in the eye are quite literally in the eye. The ring is located within the eyeball, meaning that this representation is wrong. The part highlighted in blue would be where the pupil is, and the rest of the eyeball has a sclerotic ring inside. The eyes would still be as large as typically drawn. Something not covered was whether Dunkleosteus had lips. It would make sense as suction feeders like bass have to have a tight seal so that when they open their mouth, water rushes in, sucking in the prey item as well. Additionally, without lips, Dunkleosteus would have had added drag in the water, slowing it down even further. But regardless of all that information, the important thing to note, for this show anyway, is that Dunkleosteus was very capable of biting you in half and eating you, which places it in our 72. Dunkleosteus is one of the most famous prehistoric fish, and for good reason. This creature was a ferocious killing machine with explosive power. However, Edistus and Megapiranha can kill more people in a shorter amount of time. This results in Dunkleosteus taking third spot, incoming one of the largest mosasaurs. Pronatedon grew up to 45 feet long and weighed up to 40,000 pounds. It lived 83.6 to 66 million years ago in North America, Europe, the Middle East, and New Zealand. Pronatedon was one of the largest mosasaurs. It had a bite force of 11,000 newtons, which it used to crush the shells of turtles and ammonites. Pronatedon teeth had cutting and crushing characteristics, allowing it to feed on a variety of prey, rather than just being limited to one type of creature. Preserved gut contents from a pronatedon individual revealed that it had eaten a large fish, smaller fish, sea turtle, and cephalopod. This is a wide variety of creatures, with varying degrees of crunchiness, showing that pronatedon could tackle it all, and was a generalist hunter. This mosasaur was easily capable of taking out a human with its large jaws. Pronatedon is nowhere near as dangerous as our fishy friends, placing it at number 4. Up next, a sail-backed synapsid. The largest species of dimetrodon grew up to 15 feet long and weighed up to 550 pounds. It lived 295 to 270 million years ago in the United States and Germany. Dimetrodon is famous for the sail on its back and was a synapsid, meaning it was more closely related to mammals than modern reptiles. It was not a dinosaur and went extinct 40 million years before the first dinosaurs appeared. Dimetrodon was the apex predator of its time, hunting prey such as synapsids like Edaphosaurus, amphibians, reptiles, and fish. There is fossil evidence of 3 partially eaten Diplocaulus that were unearthed and killed by a hungry Dimetrodon during a drought. Dimetrodon's name means 2 measures of teeth, which refers to the 2 different sizes of teeth in its mouth. Dimetrodon had lots of smaller teeth, as well as some that were much larger, including some that resembled canine teeth in the position in its mouth. While it's not 100% known what Dimetrodon's sail was used for, we can be almost certain it was not for thermoregulation. There are 13 species of Dimetrodon, and as time grew on, the smallest species evolved into the largest. The earliest and smallest Dimetrodons had small sails. Other creatures related to Dimetrodons, such as Phenacodon, also had small sails that would have been completely useless for controlling temperature. And since the Dimetrodons with small sails evolved into Dimetrodons with large sails, the sail would have been useless for thermoregulation for the majority of Dimetrodon's evolutionary timeline. Rather, Dimetrodon's sail was used as a mating display. Modern lizards raise frills, sails, and dewlaps to attract mates. Dimetrodon also had a similar magnitude of scaling to cervid antler length to shoulder height. As well as this, Dimetrodon exhibited sexual dimorphism, where males were larger and more heavily built and had larger sails. When Dimetrodon was standing upright, its head would have been above your waist level. Dimetrodon could bite down with 4,000 newtons of force. It could run at up to 20 miles per hour, easily enough to chase down most humans. Dimetrodon was used to killing prey larger than us, so it may have been able to give us a go. If we are on the receiving end of an attack, Dimetrodon would gore us and tear us apart with its teeth, much like it would to an Edaphosaurus. Dimetrodon can't compare to our aquatic killing machines. It takes 5th place. Estes still reigns strong in 1st. Our final creature for the episode is a mysterious giant scorpion. Brontos Scorpio reached lengths of up to 3 feet long and weighed up to 30 pounds. It lived 416 to 412.3 million years ago in England.
Brontos Scorpio was a giant prehistoric scorpion. The only known fossil is a 4-inch long chunk of its claw. While the Brontos Scorpio fossil was found in sediments that would have been terrestrial, it is likely that Brontos Scorpio spent most of its time underwater, as it would have been hard to support its massive weight on land. Brontos Scorpio may have gone ashore for short periods of time to escape predation. However, it needed to return to the water to molt, and whenever it got tired of supporting its own weight on land. Brontos Scorpio had a venomous stinger on its tail the size of a light bulb that it used to skewer prey. It's unknown how strong the venom would have been, but at 3 feet long, this scorpion likely could have injected a lot of venom. If a human was stabbed in the heart or anywhere near, it would have been a quick and painful death. It ate smaller scorpions, trilobites, and fish. It had strong mouthparts that were able to chew through the armor and exoskeletons of its prey. Brontos Scorpio breathed through book lungs like modern scorpions. Book lungs are air-filled cavities on the scorpion's body that had many folds to increase surface area.
Brontos Scorpio is nothing like the other creatures in this episode. It takes last place in this episode. As a matter of fact, if you are curious, Brontos Scorpio takes last out of the entire 72. Edistis wins this episode, with Piranha in second, Dunkleosteus in third, pronatedon in fourth, dimetrodon in fifth, and Brontos Scorpio in sixth. Next episode on 72 Dangerous Animals Prehistory: the American cheetah, a giant owl, and a massive pliosaur.
Dimetrodon was a herbivorous dinosaur, but its teeth were large for its diet and scissor-like. Ridged on one side, they were arranged in a way that would sharpen each other during chewing.
In each episode, we will rank the creatures from 1 to 6 on a scale of how potentially dangerous these creatures would be to humans, and the winner of each episode will showdown with the other 11 finalists in the season finale to decide on which prehistoric creature was the ultimate human killing machine.